Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. I am Christy Vann with Fantastic Finances, and on this channel I teach velocity banking. But today we are coming to you live from the Fantastic 24 conference. I'm so excited because we have had the best weekend. I have had such a great time meeting these teams that I get to work with every single day. And lo and behold, I have the John Washenko on my channel today. Do you guys know who this is? This is the creator of Money Max. Yes, his brain is right here with me, and I am super excited about it. So John has been speaking at the conference a little bit, and we are just talking today a little bit about how did he come up with this whole creation of the Money Max. And so John, welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Christy.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So tell me a little bit about where did the idea of the Money Max actually come from?
Well, that's a good question. Basically, we had clients who were struggling and coming back for a refinance and pulling in more debt and more debt. So we started, short answer, we started a biweekly, which shaved off a little bit, but they still kept piling on new debt. So that's when we heard of velocity banking, or the one account.
Right.
And we looked into that, but we found some holes in it that we figured out how to fix with using a second HELOC, keeping your first mortgage at a lower interest rate and not affecting or losing that fixed rate and not affecting your whole thing. And so we created Money Max, but we made it so that you could see your true financial potential. So instead of just, having the velocity banking and not knowing where you're going, not being able to see where you're headed and what the results are, we created a software program that basically allowed you to see where you're at, where you're going, and how long it's going to take you to get debt free.
That is awesome. That is so awesome, because I have so many clients today that are using the Money Max software. They are so excited about it. I literally get emails and comments on Facebook a lot that said this is the most exciting system because, I even have people write me and they'll say, this has helped me so much with budgeting, keeping my budget together. I was surprised about that because I wasn't thinking budget, I was thinking debt elimination.
Yeah.
So that's what's so great about your mind is I would have never even thought about that, having, an algorithm that actually is going to know where to put your payments. And that's literally what it does.
Yeah. So basically it's a strategy. It has 3 strategies built into it. And the strategies basically work with whatever you've got. So if it's just a checking and savings account, it works with that. If you've got a HELOC, it'll incorporate that. And then the last one is a high cash value permanent life insurance policy, and it'll incorporate and work with that.
Right. That is something I have to introduce to my audience, okay? I have just been learning about this new wealth building system that he has got into play now, and I cannot tell you how exciting that is because we can do debt elimination along with wealth building.
Correct.
And you know what? I remember when I got my debt under control and I started building my wealth through the infinite policies and stuff, how it felt.
Yeah.
That I was actually set and ready to die because my kids are set.
Yeah.
And that is a good feeling
It
that I
is.
never had before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about what led up to you even thinking, because am I right in thinking that you've had a mortgage company?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
we started out in the mortgage industry.
Okay.
And and actually we were quite successful. We actually had about 50, 70 loan officers.
Wow.
And we started out, we got into a niche, we got into a groove, we found a way to help clients and get our name out there and do good service.
Nice. Okay.
But we, saw our clients coming back, and that's why we introduced Money Max, because, well, when I was younger, my parents ran into financial hardship. My dad lost his job, and we ended up in foreclosure.
Wow.
And so when I saw our clients coming back and just going into that same rut, it really kind of hit me hard.
Right.
And so we ended up developing Money Max. That's the reason why and behind it.
So wow. So you've been an entrepreneur since birth. I mean, I've never even thought about starting a mortgage company. So that's what I'm saying is for you to put this into actual life. I mean, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's like when I was a CWI, and I am a CWI, it's a certified welding inspector for you guys who know, I would travel to BP plants, I guess you'd call them refineries, and we would do inspections on piping, the valves, the welds, of course. I've also done hotel buildings and stuff, but when I would look at the engineer's drawings, I'm like, how did their mind even come up with this? And so when I look at you, I see those drawings, as I'm like, in his mind, it looks like this.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So tell me a little bit about how did you determine how that algorithm works? Tell me a little bit, like how does an algorithm know to tell you where to put your payments?
Well, that's a good question. It's a little bit complicated, but basically, you got to first find a strategy. So you create a strategy, and because we have 3 of them, you have to, there's 3 different strategies. You have to figure out the cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out, and we gotta set up our clients on, their income versus expenses. Get them to, get into whatever they're spending now.
Right.
Just stick with that. You know what I mean? If they've got a little bit of excess, great. Let the Money Max move that and put it into a smarter place. And really, what the concept is if I'm paying, say 6 to 10%, 20% on credit cards, whatever the average interest rate is, well, why not just take my checking account over here, which is paying me 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Combine the 2 and pay less interest. I mean, you're already on the hook for the debt. There's no risk in just paying it off sooner.
Right.
So why not just pay less, and then you end up further ahead, and then you show that to people. But getting that into a strategy was a lot of code.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I bet.
Yeah, so a lot of code, a lot of trial and error. Actually, our first version failed miserably because it was just static.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, hey, here's some advice, which is like we get from a lot of people, you know what I mean? But without something to actually engage when things change, all of a sudden you ended up falling off the plan.
Yeah.
So with this, even if you lose your job,
Yeah.
you can do pretty much anything that you can. The dashboard will go red, and it'll tell you, hey, instead of paying off in whatever your time to pay off was, 7 to 10 years, all of a sudden it goes red and it says, hey, you got, a year and a half left till we run out of money completely.
See, that's crazy.
It is.
That's crazy.
And it's so good to know that, because when you know, oh, I've only got a year and a half, what do? First thing is, in my mind, I cut back.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it goes from a year and a half to 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're like, oh, that was good. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's financial education coming through, you talking to the system talking to you, and just back and forth to where all of a sudden our clients get smarter, they get it, the light bulb turns on, and then they cut back a little bit more, or they get a paycheck, and then all of a sudden from -2 years to -3 years, 5 years, and then all of a sudden they get another job, and they're back into paying off in 10 years.
Wow.
So,
see, that is so genius. I don't know who you are out there, but this is genius. So
it's a lot of math.
Right.
It
sounds
you have
like
to
it.
forecast it all the way through. You can't just, it's all the way through. But then there are, algorithms that we've created, and we actually hired, look, I'm an entrepreneur, but I hire smarter people than myself help them and grab their minds, you know what I mean? And then create systems to where we can help our clients succeed.
That's awesome. Do you know how many of my clients that you have helped, though? It's insane. The reason that I even found Money Max was because, and I've shared it in videos before, but I was having people come to me and they did not have any cash flow. Two, they could not get a line of credit due to their credit score was too low or too high DTI. So I don't know. I felt like that, okay, there has to be something out there that will help the people, because I can help them all day long if you have a line of credit.
Yeah.
And some cash flow. So I don't even know how I came across your link that leads to your reps, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna just do it. I literally got a hold of a couple of your guys and met that Saturday. So that was on a Thursday or Friday. They met me the next Saturday. And we talked, and when I couldn't even believe it. When I first heard this, I'm like, that sounds too good to be true. But
That's pretty common.
yeah, but lo and behold, when he ran some numbers for me, I sent him a worksheet, and I could not help the lady. And that lady actually came all the way down to about 8 or 9 years. I can't remember, but it was crazy. So I've told the story before of the Texan I had, and it's hard to get a HELOC there anyway.
Yeah.
But he only had a 627 credit score. He had a negative 600 cash flow. Yeah, and he had over $400,000 in debt. When I ran his numbers, I was getting 27 years, no matter how I did it. But your guy ran it through the Money Max, and listen, to this day, that guy is so happy he can't breathe, because he went to an 8-year payoff, and it was amazing, because there's no reason he should be at an 8-year payoff, but because of that biweekly pay, that's what it took to pull him over just a little bit into the positive cash flow, and he's set. Yeah. And I will share, he told me that his wife had been diagnosed with cancer after the Money Max, and they got off track with all of that spending. But I told him, I said, no, go back to Money Max, because we have free coaching on this. I said, go back and tell them to recalculate your numbers. So he went back and he did it, and it had only extended his payoff, I think it was 3 months. So he was super excited, because they had taken on a lot of debt with the cancer. So I just want you to know how I appreciate you for what you do. We could sit here and talk all day about what Money Max actually does. It's an interest eliminator. So we don't want to pay any more, guys. We're already paying for what we bought. Let's just pay for that and not add a bunch of interest onto it. And it doesn't matter if you have a mortgage or not. Doesn't matter if you have student loans or not. Everything can be included in this Money Max system. I'm excited about that. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about what it looks like with the wealth building side?
Sure, yeah. So the the whole time we've been trying to help eliminate debt and literally offset that. Why not put your money into a smarter position, right? Mm-hmm. Just stop paying so much interest versus earning zero. Mm-hmm. So now the next step is in this high cash value permanent life insurance policy. A lot of them, and there's a lot of policies out there, and you really have to have the right one, because most of them out there have 0 to 30% cash surrender value in the first 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. So in the first 3 to 5 years, if you were to close your policy, you could end up with 0 and you get 0 back, and then you paid all that money, kind of like a term insurance policy, but even more expensive. Mm-hmm. So with that just didn't work for us. I've been in the insurance industry since 2010. We started our first insurance company. Mm-hmm. But we finally found this product with the right cash value, which is 70 to 90%. So remember, you close it in 3 to 5 years, what do you get? You could end up with 0. Mm-hmm. And paid a lot of money for coverage and really got nothing if nothing happened. Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But in this policy, it's based on, like all insurance, based on age and health. Mm-hmm. But the cash value in the policy is between 70 to 90% depending on your age and your health. Right, okay. And so if you close the policy in the first 3 to 5 years, which is a really bad idea, what you would have is 90 cents on the dollar, 70 to 90 cents on the dollar, and so you got a lot back. Right. But you still had coverage. Mm-hmm. Now, as that policy matures and goes on, then and we show you, hey, year one, it's going to be, say 87%, and then 90%, and then 92%, mm-hmm. Year 2, 3, 10, whatever that is. And you can see, and then it gets obviously the policy gets to a point where it's self-sustaining. Now there's always cost of insurance, right? So if something happens to you, then your family's taken care of. But this policy also has living benefits, and it has the best living benefits. There's like 5. There's also like critical injury, you get injured.
Chronic? Does it
Chronic,
have that? Okay.
yes, chronic illness. Also Alzheimer's. There's 5 triggers. So, and they will write you a check, you know, and literally my neighbor, mountain biking, heading down the mountain, hit a tree. He's a pilot. He would be, you know, that would cover under critical injury.
Wow, yeah.
Because he could no longer work. He was paralyzed from the waist down. Look, that's not going to fix everything. But I can tell you one thing, it's a lot better to have, you know, say $1 million or $2 million to help deal with that versus figure it out on your own.
Absolutely.
You know what I
yes,
mean?
Absolutely.
So those are the safeties behind it. But the most amazing thing, well, there's quite a few. But I mean, the HELOC is really, you know, deposit your income against the HELOC and offset that interest. You know what I mean? And you know that very well.
Right.
With the high cash value permanent life insurance policy, though, you are building, you have an account value and you have cash value, and they're really tied together when you start. But then the cash value will go up and down and fluctuate, but the account value always goes up. So every deposit you make into it, if you're at 90 cents on the dollar, then basically you have 90 cents that you can use, and the account value is at 90 cents or $9,000 or 190,000. If you put in 90,000, 100,000, you're gonna have 90,000 available. And then as you pull money out, so you take it out and you pay off your debt, right? That's what we're doing with the HELOC. Really, we're sucking money into it, or it's all in one, and we're just depositing money. So the concept is building cash in the policy that continues to work even after withdrawn, which is so powerful. And if the account value is the crediting value, and say it's, you know, at $100,000, and you're earning, say, 6% interest on that, or, you know, even a variable, you know, even a little bit of a range, 5 to 6 or 7%, and you're borrowing it at 5.5%. Well, if your mortgage is at, you know, 5, 6%, 3%, whatever, and your credit cards, as Money Max will tell you, it'll tell you to pull money from your high cash value permanent life insurance policy, pay off debt. So what we've done is we've transferred money from the policy and paid off debt. The account value goes up because we put money into it, and that stays up as we continue to deposit money into the high cash value permanent life insurance. It continues to grow. This is the crediting account. We're borrowing from the insurance company's general funds, so that goes against our cash value. It pulls it down. So if we put in 100,000, we borrowed, say, 90,000, paid off debt. Well, now what's happened is we're still crediting on that 100,000. And what we've done is we've taken liabilities, mortgage, auto loans, credit cards, transferred them into a policy, and turned them into assets.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, that just went.
Well, it is a little bit. It is a little bit. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But the Money Max just dumbs it down to where move money from here to here.
Yeah.
And then pull money
crazy.
from your IUL and pay off this debt.
Right.
So the same thing with the HELOC, just different accounts.
I think that is so beautiful, because with doing nothing extra but using the Money Max, you're doing it all in one.
Yes.
I
The long-term benefit is, so in this high cash value permanent life insurance, the floor is 0. So the policy can never lose money. There's cost of insurance, which is the difference between whatever your cash surrender value is and what you put in. So if it's 85%, there's 15% cost. If it's 90, there's 10. You know what I mean? But inside the policy, once it becomes self-sustaining, it'll create a lifetime income for you in retirement.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can use it for really anything. There's no gotchas. There's no early withdrawal penalties. There's no anything like that. You can use the policy literally for anything, but instead of just paying it off and saving interest, you've paid it off through the IUL or through the whole life policy, this high cash value permanent policy, And now you've got an asset that is continuing to pay you even though your debt's already retired.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's your dollar gets working twice, not just once, but twice.
Wow.
And the other thing is money coming out of the policy is a loan against the death benefit. So it's tax free. So when the retirement income kicks in, you don't have to pay taxes on that because it's a loan against the death benefit.
That's crazy. Okay, so is there an additional charge for people that, if you buy into the Money Max, that's the interest eliminator.
Yeah.
But is there an extra charge to add in?
No, it's a free upgrade.
It's a free upgrade, guys. A lot of you already have the Money Max. It's a free upgrade. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, what's the next thing on your mind?
Next thing? Well, America needs Money Max. It really does. We're in a very different mentality where it's, buy it now and pay for it later. And we've been like that for a long time. And Money Max helps you to maximize your money and to see where you're going before you get there.
Right.
The way that I like to see it is, look, most Americans, most people want to go forward. They want to find a way to get ahead, right? Everybody does.
Right.
I don't know anybody who says, hey, I want to be the last guy, paid last and down at the, end of the totem pole. What the problem is they're trying to go forward, but they're looking through the rearview mirror.
Wow.
And they're looking backwards. Talk about an accident waiting to happen. You know what I mean? And all they see is what they've done in the past. Well, what good does that do you?
Right.
It doesn't, can you change the past? No. So what Money Max does is it's always projecting forward. And so even just knowing, like we were talking about, if you lost your job and it goes negative, knowing how much time you have brings so much hope.
Yeah.
It's so much light. It's just a different way of, why wouldn't we want to look forward?
Right.
You know what I mean? When we're driving, we look forward or else we get in a wreck.
Exactly.
And that's really kind of what our finances are like.
Well, it's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Is what it is, and that's the people that I deal with. They are suffocating when we first sign on to a video, right? When we're talking in a virtual, they're literally just sad. Some of them's crying. Some of them's overwhelmed. But when I can give them options on debt elimination, and Money Max plays a big part in that a lot, it is literally life-changing. You took somebody that was low and thought there was no way to, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful job to have.
It
is that every day I get to touch somebody. These people at the conference here have been absolutely amazing. It's just like when I talk to you guys one-on-one, except I get to touch these people. I think we have had a great time. I can't wait to see the reviews. We're going to send out a paper or an email and let you guys review the ones that were here. So I'm excited about that. But you know what? It was just to meet you in person. That was amazing because I've talked to you on virtually before too, but it's just like when you finally see somebody and they're real and you can touch them and you're like, let me touch your mind, So you're always. I love to mingle with people that just think higher than I do.
Well, Miss Christy, I
we
love
all
your
can grow.
accent, and you're just fun to be around.
I do have an accent.
It's a very unique accent. I love it.
Well, you know what? When I went to Ohio,
I could just listen to you. I think that's probably why you do so well. Is you're just soothing to listen to.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I sound like a man. I've had so many people say,
No,
"Yes, sir."
Get your own numbers, man.
When my husband, when I get mad at him and I'll talk mean to him, he'll say, "Calm down, Chris." And I'm like, and he'll say, he'll go, "Oh, kitty, kitty." I act like I'm a big. Sorry, guys, I gotta go off there. But the point being that we have help here that some of you guys did not even know was available. Velocity Banking, alone with the line of credit, is an absolutely beautiful thing. And if you don't know about it, you don't know about it, but it will change your life. But when you use Money Max with a line of credit or without, you have just put your debt elimination on steroids. And I'm telling you, if you're in any kind of situation, especially if you cannot get any kind of lines of credit, if your DTI is too high, whatever is causing you the stress in your finances right now, this guy may be your answer. And on top of everything he just talked about, he allows a free personal analysis. And I mean, you're going to have answers. The point is they don't talk about, get out your credit card, give me your credit card, and then we'll let you see what it's going to cost. No. They run the analysis based on your actual numbers, and by the time that they get done with that analysis, you're going to know what your elimination date ends, when it's over.
What your true financial potential is too.
Yeah, exactly.
Most
especially
people
with that.
don't understand that they could pay off that fast.
I know.
And that just kills me,
Right.
you know? I mean, I feel like people need to own their own assets.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're talking about my average with my clients I have looked at, and we're at an average of 8.5 years. And that's crazy because everybody I deal with is in a 30-year mortgage. So to know that you can bring even a 3% mortgage down, because
Yeah.
people are like, well, my interest rate's really low. It's at 2.35. Dude, that's not low. You need to get in some kind of strategy, and Money Max may be your answer. And all you have to do is reach out for a personal analysis. I hope you do, because I did. I have the Money Max. I tell people that. I'm not even using it yet, but I bought it because I know one day I'm going to buy another property, and I just wanted it. So I have it too. I don't push anybody to do anything that I haven't done myself. But that infinite thing you got going on with the policies, I'm going to work on that next. So I'm going to be able to update you personally as to how that works. And I'm excited. I'm very excited about it. I thank you
Me
so
too.
much for this interview, for coming on, talking to us about it a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you for all you're doing.
Oh, I am excited the next time we meet, and we haven't even left each other yet. So I'm going to end this video, guys. You have probably seen some of the lives that I did around the conference today. It was an awesome day. We had some awesome speakers today and yesterday. We're going to have a couple more tomorrow, and then we're over, and it's going to make me sad because this has been a work in progress, and now I'm going to feel like I did when I learned about velocity banking, and I have nothing to do, right? Because the debt's in control, and you don't have to work and figure and stress and all that. So I'm just super excited that you joined me today, and reach out if you want to talk to one of the Money Max reps. They will get you into a personal analysis, and we are going to see just how fast you can get out of debt as well. Thank you, guys. See you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm going to push the button. Bye, guys.